Interesting video. The New Yorkers have a different take on innovation, but takes a interesting view of what people think about innovation. A lot of people think about technology. Some people think about more buttons in computers. And let me take you a little bit into what is innovation for Covidien. Innovation for Covidien is to take unmet needs that are extremely important to our customers and significantly improve a dimension of those needs. So let me give you some context. How do we pull this all together? How do we understand the values of the customer? How we take the value of technology, how we bring that into invention? How do we bring that into commercialization of an idea, and how do we exploit that idea? There are significant forces in the market that drive innovation, apart from a company's desire to be innovative by itself. The need to develop solutions which have superior evidence and clinical outcomes is what drives governments and insurance companies to pay for the services provided to the patients. So that is the first force out there. Second is, if you don't have the evidence, you don't get reimbursed. If you don't have superior evidence, in most countries, you don't get reimbursed. Second is, what are the patient's needs? There's a significant amount of comorbidities associated with diseases such as diabetes type 2. They are in the forefront of patients' minds. When we look at spending, every part of the world has a different profile as percentage of GDP, but there's one thing in common. Independently how much you spend money, either it's 16% or an average of 9%, is that governments are looking for evidence to address diseases that are significantly impacting their citizens. So if you look at the government of Ottawa, for instance, in Canada, took diabetes type 2 head on by giving the ability to reimburse that procedure to their patients, because there's about 80+% a chance of diabetes type 2 being eliminated by the time the patient is out 6 to 12 months from a gastric bypass surgery. So governments will spend money. They will spend money in the right places. But to spend money, you need a body of evidence. You need your clinical outcomes. You need to be able to provide an economical benefit for the system. So how does Covidien do that? We have what we call Covidien Circle of Evidence. So let me give you an example. We launched about 14 months ago an electrosurgery device called Impact. It's a large device that is attached to a radio frequency generator. So why did we do that? Why did we spend so much money, so much time launching a product that have long jaws used for open surgery, primarily hysterectomies, and also lower colon resection? There was an unmet need for reduction of blood loss, first of all. Second, the time for open hysterectomy or vaginal hysterectomy was too long and could be cut compared to traditional methods. So when we launched this product, we also put into context 8 different clinical studies, which are either complete or in enrollment phase, that will give us the evidence to support our claims. That message gets given to our sales force, which will work very closely with the clinicians to demonstrate that this is a better alternative for the patient, will have superior outcomes, and at the end of the day, will cost less for the overall system. If you think about the amount of effort that we in the last 36 months as a company had to put forth to be able to substantiate clinical studies such as this was tremendous. We have today more than 100 studies around the globe. Our clinicians are working diligently with clinical studies from Japan all the way to Brazil, US, Canada, Netherlands, places in the EU, South Africa, Australia, to be able to demonstrate efficacy and superiority in clinical outcomes. These clinicians today, we have more than 150 people around the globe, several medical doctors in our staff that we use very efficiently in getting those claims, as well as that body of physicians and clinicians are used to train other clinicians and physicians. Because we believe the education function within Covidien is probably one of the most important things that we have, and is an obligation of the company to provide that to the clinicians around the globe. So we talk about the evidence, we talk about how to get healthcare economics as part of the equation to provide better value for the providers. And let me take you now, how do we go about inventing things? Not in the far past, we used to focus on the voice of the customer. We have an idea, we collect an idea, we have the voice of the customer comes in, we validate that idea, we say, well, this looks good enough. Now we're now going to put the claims together, we're going to get some evidence, and we're going to launch the product. If you think about what was missing from that equation, is what we call voice of technology, which is the creation of disruptive technology that will be the future of medical devices. Things in 5 years will not be the same they are today. Incremental improvements in product will not take the place of true disruptive technology. They will bring two things to the game. One is first, the economical proposition for the providers, and second is the body of evidence that there is a superiority in the product design. So just changing colors, changing some raw materials, they have incremental savings or incremental benefit to the provider and the patients, are not game changers. So we adopted a process by which we look at technology around the globe. Not for medical devices, technology used in aerospace, technology used in petrochemical companies that can be incorporated into our process to deliver that disruptive technology and satisfy what we call main values to our customers. The main parameters of value, the MPVs. So when we look at those processes that we have, we talk about the voice of the customer, unmet needs. So we have a process called outcome-driven innovation.